All right, y'all, welcome to another show of Politics and Politricks You Decide with Brother Tula Cabona, Brother Justin Barnett. And we have an outstanding guest today, almost connected to Michael Jordan as far as his height.
Yes, sir.
But we will be introducing him in 1 second. But y'all know we always say, we want to give shouts out to Brother Art. Well, first of all, we always say, if you hear the sound of our voice, that means God has blessed you to see another day. Prayers go up, blessing comes down. Let's say amen.
Amen.
Amen. So we want to give shouts out to Brother R.J. Watkins and Brother Henry Tyler for being the brainchild of putting this operation together. 2015 R&B Hall of Famers. Shouts out to Miss Michelle and Miss Maxine and everybody else that's affiliated with WHPR 88.1 FM Family, 107.5 FM WGPR HD3. With no further ado, we want to announce the Lieutenant Governor
Yes, we do.
of the state, Brother Gilchrist, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. We are privileged to have him here.
Hey, look, well, thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. I'm proud to be back here on air with you in Highland Park. I feel like this is a home game, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I feel like the work that you do and the way you connect with the community and inform people, that empowers people, that inspires people, and that's important. And we all have a role to play to make sure that the people in our community know what's going on, know what's true, and know what they can do. Yes, and my job right now as Lieutenant Governor is to make sure we can create space for everybody to be successful. But the next job that I hope to hold is to be Michigan's Secretary of State.
Come on.
Because make no mistake about it, there is a direct assault on votes, voting, and voters coming from Donald Trump directly and personally, specifically targeted toward the people of Detroit and the people of Michigan. He has been very explicit about talking about voters in Detroit. And I take that personally because I live in Detroit.
Correct.
I'm from the east side. I live on the west side. Okay. And he talks about, people who vote by mail or absentee. He's talking about my wife. When he's talking about Detroit voters, he's talking about the parents whose kids go to the same Detroit public school that my kids go to. I take that very personally and very seriously. And so we need somebody who's going to stand tall for votes, voting, and voters in our state. We need somebody who's going to protect us and make sure that we're able to exercise our rights in the face of this president who acts like a king. We need to make sure that people know the power that they have, that they can vote safely, that they can vote and trust that it'll be counted. They will know what happens when their ballot after they cast it. They will have a resourced elections departments across the state of Michigan that will serve them, and somebody who will push back on all the lies that these people tell. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it especially after become the Democratic nominee on April 19th at Huntington Place, and do it against that Republican candidate I'm going to beat, which his name is Anthony Forlini, a man who's already coordinating with the Trump Justice Department on election lies, already building the apparatus to attack election workers, to attack election administrators. It's unacceptable, and I'm going to make sure we don't stand for it.
Come on, y'all. Let's give him a round of applause.
Let's clap that up. We're going to clap that up.
That was a locker room speech at a political event, so we appreciate it. But I just want to say, I want to go back to the founder of the Heritage Foundation, Paul Weyrich, who made this statement. People tend to forget this. He said, we don't want a lot of people voting. The less people vote, the more leverage we get. And what you're saying is under the Save America, so-called Save America Act, what Donald Trump is trying to implement, is going to deprive people of votes. Can you explain that a little bit, Lieutenant?
They are terrified of full voter participation.
Correct.
Because the policies that they have enacted, the Trump in Congress right now, the policies that they have enacted are so dangerous, destructive, deadly, and unpopular that they are afraid of getting voted out because of it. Because who gonna vote for people who gutted health care, who took food out of pregnant women and children's mouths, okay?
Correct.
And so because that's so unpopular, they have to make it more difficult for people to vote in as many places as possible. This Save America Act that's being debated in Congress and in the United States Senate right now, that is a voter suppression bill, okay? Correct. It is going to make it more difficult for women to vote. And I'm going to say, women look, I'm going to give you two examples in my own family. My grandma, she was born in the 30s in Union Springs, Alabama, Bullock County. She was born at home on the family farm. My grandma ain't got no birth certificate. Okay, who was going to bring her one at the house?
Correct.
My grandma got married when she was like 17. She ain't got no marriage license, but she was married to Dan Posey until he passed away when I was in college. My grandma now lives in Southfield, Michigan.
Yes.
All of a sudden, after she's been voting for her whole life since she turned 18, now Trump is going to say, oh, you need to have a passport to verify your citizenship or a birth certificate to verify your citizenship. That seems like a plan to get her not to vote.
Correct.
Now let's talk about another woman in my life. My wife, she's great. We celebrated 17 years of marriage this summer. All right. My wife added Gilchrist onto the backside of her name when we got married.
Nice.
But she didn't change her passport for several years. Should she not have been able to vote while she didn't update her passport? She the same woman, the same voter. But they want to make it more difficult for people to vote. And the State of America Act is attacking women like that and people who don't have birth certificates, don't have passports. You know who that is? A lot of us.
Correct.
Okay, so we need somebody who will stand tall and preemptively block them from doing that type of stuff on the state level legally. That's why we need to pass a state level Voting Rights Act, because the Voting Rights Act of 1965 might be gutted by the United States Supreme Court before the end of June.
Correct.
We need to make sure that we have protections for people who vote by mail, which is more and more. Millions of people in Michigan vote by mail now. And there's a case out of Mississippi that was debated last month.
Correct.
That said that if a ballot is postmarked on election day, put it in the mail, they stamp it, say when it was put in the mail. If it doesn't get received by election day, they might not count it.
Correct.
Now, whose fault is that?
Correct.
That's not a voter's fault.
That's right.
That's the fault of the Postal Service that Donald Trump has gutted. That he started gutting when he was the first time he was president.
Correct.
Okay? But so we need to make sure every ballot that is cast by an eligible voter gets counted.
Correct.
That's the one job that I have as Secretary of State, is to make sure to protect that. And I can't wait for them to take me to court about counting somebody's ballot.
Correct.
Okay? This is the energy that we need to have. And you know how many cases of this so-called voter fraud have happened as a result of a mail-in ballot that was received after Election Day? Let me give you a hint. It's the same number of Super Bowls the Lions done won. Okay?
No.
And this is not a problem. But they are inventing problems to lie about fake solutions to get people not to vote. And that is dangerous, and that's why we got to stop it.
I mean, I agree with you. And I just think that Donald Trump is outrageous, his conduct.
That's right.
And at this point, he done gave the Republicans a poison pill of political suicide. And I think that they recognize that. So their primary objective is to go in and sabotage the election, particularly giving false information out, like they did before. So my question is, I just want to add this in. There's a large voting block of people who don't vote, the homeless. So what I would ask of you, can you implement some type of program where you can go in and register the homeless, we're getting them IDs, regular ID, that's another subject, but go and register them so they can vote. I talk to them all the time. We're active with them, right? And I may come on, I told you. So I go and talk to them. They want to embrace the Democratic Party. They don't know how. So can we set up a system like that? Secondly, those in a nursing home. Nursing home people can vote too by mail-in ballot. Well, Donald Trump talking, he mailed his ballot in to vote, right. And the woman just won in Florida, right? So I'm saying, is there any way we can address that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the Secretary of State should be aggressive in making sure that every eligible person in Michigan who can vote does. Absolutely. I'm sick of mediocre voter turnout. We get higher voter turnout of people regardless of whether or not they had a house would vote. We would get higher voter turnout if we made sure that it was easy for our seniors to be able to turn in their ballots. We would get higher voter turnout if we made sure that every single young person experienced a vote simulation when they were in high school that allowed them to see a real ballot, to vote in a real voting booth, put it in a real tabulator, and be able to ask all their questions about the process. Because the number one reason why people between the ages of 18 and 25 don't vote?
Why is that?
Because they don't know how. They got real questions. Can I take my phone with me when I go vote? Do I have to go by myself? Can I take some notes or bring a paper in there with me? And being embarrassed about not knowing the answer to those basic questions is enough for a meaningful number of young people not to vote. My wife ran the first ever vote simulation in the city of Detroit when she ran the social studies curriculum for Detroit Public Schools in 2020. I've seen it work, okay? I've seen it. And so we can implement a system like that statewide so that every young person can participate. I think we need to try to maximize voter turnout. And look, and I'll be real about this, ain't even partisan. I believe in participation. I believe the people in Michigan, that their humanity is enough and their opinion is important enough to respect. and to give them a mechanism to be able to demonstrate it, to show it, to articulate it, to speak up, to mobilize, and to vote. I think everybody has that right. And so I'm going to make sure we enable that, because that is what this democracy looks like.
So you,
I love it. I love it. That's just genius right there. We clap on that one.
And
Yes.
another thing I would ask
I'm
also,
listening.
can we implement more civic lessons, not only in school or requirement, I would say from junior high, high school, also just in general, in poverty-stricken communities where people can go and learn and talk to you, hey man, what I need to do so we need that, because a lot of people that I talked to during the election, Lieutenant Governor, they didn't know, they give me all this misinformation. So we need to, if you want to have, that's fine, but let's have an alternative to that to teach them how to vote. Can you implement something like that as well?
Well, we got to meet people where we are, right? And you have to be really creative, really committed, and really aggressive, because those people who want to hurt us, who want to take away our rights, who lie to us every day on TV, on the radio, and on the internet, they are creative, they are committed, and they are aggressive, and that is how people get all these lies. Right. And so we have to be at least as committed, creative, and aggressive with the truth.
Correct.
And if my job is to be all the way outside, to be out there with people, communicating directly with people, and to build a team of people across communities, across the state of Michigan, to enable and empower people to go and bring the truth aggressively. And that's a team I'm excited to build, to be able to use the way that people communicate and consume information today, not a dated strategy from 30 years ago, but a strategy that works for the next 30 years, right, that engages people. Nice. That's what I'll do as Secretary of State.
So when you say not 30 years ago, and I'm saying this with respect, should we as Democrats in the Democratic Party, should we update our approach to people, meaning, do it differently than what we're doing? Because the voter turnout for Kamala Harris, Donald Trump only won Michigan by 50%, she lost for 49%. The percentage points are very low. So what can we do differently, as far as an effective solution that's really going to engage people to want to vote, because they got to have an interest in voting?
First thing we need to do is let different kinds of people. Part of what the challenge is we got people that people ain't excited about. We need people who are different, got different experiences. I'm different. Look, I'm an engineer. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a political science degree. I'm an engineer. I make things work. I'm a systems person, okay? I build things. I'm the only software developer elected statewide in America right now as lieutenant governor, okay?
Yes.
I think people want to believe that systems can work for people, can work for them. Because seeing systems failing us, that is what leads to people just checking out. Correct. If this system has failed me over and over and over again for 1 or 2 or 3 generations, no wonder people check out from it. Correct. They have a bad experience with it. But what if we could create good experiences? What if people come through that Secretary of State's office, the front door to state government? Okay, it's the first thing people interact with. Think about it. You get your ID when you're 14. You get your learner's permit when you're 15. You get your driver's license when you're 16. Now we pre-register you to vote when you're 17 so you can get fully registered when you're 18. Those are the entry points for people getting connected with the government and the first experiences they have with civic engagement. Now, if those are high quality experiences, people might just keep doing it. But if they're bad experiences that make you wait and waste your time and disrespect you, then it's no wonder people check out on the front end. And then it's harder to get them back. It's kind of like going to the movies. If you go to the movie theater and see a bad movie, you're not going to go see it again. Okay? If you go to the movie theater and see a good movie, you might go see it again. You definitely going to talk about it with somebody else and encourage them to go see it too. What if civic engagement was like that? That is our opportunity to create those kind of experiences. And we need different kind of people to do that. And somebody who understands systems, understands process, understands people, that's me, and that's what I'll do.
I love it. We clapping. I love this.
So, I love this. I think you got a lot of energy, and I think that Lieutenant Governor, we need that. We need somebody that really, as you say, that know how to systematically break down everything and talk to people, because I really feel from being out here that's missing. And a lot of people are tired of the boogeyman syndrome. What I mean by that. Stop telling people
you said the boogeyman syndrome.
Stop thinking you're going to tell people that Donald Trump going to make it worse and that's going to mess. They done with that. So what you're saying is that if we make the experience more pleasurable, and set up the system, they'll feel more comfortable with it and participate more. Would I be correct in saying that?
We gotta do all of it, because make no mistake about it, Trump is bad, and people need to know that, and we need to tell them that. So I don't think that we should stop. We should minimize the threat, because it is real. Like, he does not want everybody to vote in Michigan. Okay, correct. They have demonstrated that they want to take health care away from people who do not have a lot of wealth or income. They have demonstrated they want to target and attack women. They have demonstrated that. So people need to understand how clear and present that danger is. But alongside that, we also have to create something good. And we have to show people that there's a vision and a place for them in the future. The truth is, the biggest difference between, us and our opponent, between Democrats and Republicans, right, is that we do have a vision for the future that is inclusive, that has space for everybody, that's big and beautiful and bold and diverse and has something for everybody. Their vision is so small and so narrow that everybody can't fit in it. So they spend every moment trying to kick people out. That's why they focus on deporting people. That's why they focus on canceling people. That's why they focus on who can they eliminate next. They ain't got no place for the gay people. They ain't got no place for women. They ain't got no place for immigrants. And no place for black people in the past, the present, or the future. Because their vision is so small that there's no room for us. That we got to articulate that difference. That's something that people can get excited about and be part of.
Well, I know Donald Trump said that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 or 1965, one of the two, was an assault on white rights, something to that effect. So my question is, can we honestly say that what you're saying is that he legitimately is definitely focusing on canceling rights for women and for people who are non-white? Would you kind of agree with that, or what, or disagree with it?
I think it's been really clear. It's been really clear. The focus attack on women and women's their right to choose and have an abortion if that's what they need to do for the sake of their family and their future and their health. It's been very clear that they are attacking black folks and people who are poor. It's been very clear that they are attacking immigrants outright, forcefully, and now using those same federal agents to threaten and intimidate people at the airport.
No,
they threaten and intimidate people. Potentially, they threaten to do it at polling places. Yeah. Like, as Secretary of State, I have the authority to set the rules for what can happen at a polling place. That's why you can't campaign within a few.
Hold on, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, I have the authority as Secretary of State to set the rules for what can and cannot happen at a polling place. So, for example, when you go to a polling place right now, people who are campaigning for a candidate or a cause, they can't get but so close to the door, right? That's because of a rule that is set. Mm-hmm. Right now, it is illegal to take a firearm into a polling location because of a rule that is set. We need to set a rule that says there needs to be a football field between a federal agent and a place where people vote. Okay? Again, just to create space and safety. And to then, pursue that rule aggressively. That's the kind of thing that we can do to protect people.
Do you feel that some of the Democratic, I'm going to just say it, some of the Democratic Party lack your energy? Let me say it that way. Lack your energy, because you definitely have the right energy for the moment. Do we lack that in some of our candidates or some of our elected people, thereby putting people to sleep that want to vote but don't see interest in voting?
I mean, we ain't all the same. That's why I'm bringing this energy. I mean, I think that my job is to show up exactly as who I am, exactly as how my mama made me, okay? And by showing up, I think I can present and provide a pathway for people to participate in a bigger future. And I'm going to bring all the energy to do that. I want everybody to be on board. I'm asking people for their support to join and be part and build and grow this movement, to help me become the nominee on April the 19th at Huntington Place, to help me become the Michigan Secretary of State in November of 2026.
Let's go.
Well, I'm going to say this, Lieutenant Governor. We need that aggression.
We need it.
And let me be clear. The Republicans ain't playing. When you see Pete Hegseth speak, he sound like he had a fraternity party. Right. So I'm just saying. So we need, and I need people to clearly understand. We need the brother, and I'm sorry if I'm using cultural identity right now, and I'm not saying it disrespectfully. We need him in there, right? Because we need this energy. We can no longer sit and just hold our hands and ring. And this is the opportunity. Yeah. So my question, another question I want to ask you. can we somehow really deal with people threatening people in the poll more aggressively, poll workers?
Yeah.
Right? Can the Secretary of State really get with the Attorney General of Michigan and say, hey, man, we really finna put y'all on blast and give stronger penalties for that?
The reason we need a Democratic Attorney General is so I have a partner to be able to do that. You know, in the executive order that Donald Trump signed, you know, a week and a half ago, he directly threatens people who work the election.
Explain. Can you explain?
Directly threatens it. So this executive order is mostly about how mail-in ballots will be handled and who is eligible to get registered to vote, okay, or to get a ballot. And it directly threatens, it says that if a person who is working the election processes or counts those ballots in a way that is inconsistent with that order, which is unconstitutional, then they could be prosecuted by the federal government. That is a direct threat against those people. These people who work hard every election, some people have been doing it for a long time, that's a threat of intimidation because they want to follow the actual law and not something that's unconstitutional. So my job as Secretary of State will be to have, again, the most robust and aggressive legal team that we've ever had. They say that when they come at you, they got to go through my team. They got to go through me. You know what I'm saying? And they can't come at me easy, okay? Because they can't get through a door without getting to me. I'm 6 feet 8 inches tall. I'm the same height as the door, okay? So that is, I will be the one who stands tall for those people who are working so hard, are the frontline workers of our democracy. I respect them enough not to threaten them or try to intimidate them. I want more people to be part of that process, not fewer. But the Trump administration is attacking them. So yeah, I need a partner in a strong Attorney General. But in the event that I don't have that, well, then it's going to be all Team Secretary of State Gilchrist that's going to be prosecuting that then.
Let's go. Say it.
Listen. So I like that. So when I was growing up, my mom really volunteered to be on the polls. You know, she did that out in Macomb County. Let me be clear. So should we get more? Can we get more people to be involved? Should we encourage them to do more volunteer work at the polls, or be more engaged?
Absolutely. I would love to have a whole additional set of people who want to work at polling places, at absentee vote counting boards, who are working as volunteers, and people who are coming to work for these clerks' offices at the city level and the township level and the county level. We need more people. And the people who are working the elections, notice they'd be excited when new people come in there to work. Okay? Like, I think we have an opportunity to recruit. And I think that's also why we need a different kind of energy coming from the Secretary of State's office to attract additional types of talent, to get more people who had not considered doing that kind of work, to have them consider it, to see it as both a duty and an opportunity. And that's the story that I want to tell.
I love it. I love it.
Can we target more of the colleges, more colleges as well, get more college students active involved, particularly in the urban areas?
We absolutely. And I'll say this. I know we're talking a lot about our urban areas. I need more people everywhere.
Right.
Okay. No, I need more people everywhere. And so I want students. I want young professionals. I want mid-career professionals. I want more seniors. I want everybody. And you know why we need everybody? Because this democracy is for everybody. Absolutely. Everybody can vote in it. Everybody can work it. Okay, and that's what I want.
I done talked to seniors before who really want to get more involved. Mm-hmm. My mom went to the nursing home system, and Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, there was no. It's like they alive but dead. They got opinions about politics.
Of course.
They didn't watch the gamut. So that's why I asked you, how could somebody in a nursing home possibly be able to volunteer if they of their right faculties? But
there's a role for everybody to play. I think about this like my the basketball coach I played my best ball for. Okay, he always talked about you got to know your personnel. Everybody has a job. Basketball teams, everybody got different positions. That means that there's a position for everybody. Okay, and so yes, people with different talents, skills, experiences, and abilities, we can find a way to plug you into this democratic process, and we should do that. That's why I spend time in nursing homes and skilled nursing facilities and senior buildings and things like that to listen to people about what their priorities are, but also how we can make sure they're able to participate in the way they want to, in a way that recognizes their value
Correct.
right? I'm not leaving anybody out of this future in this set of opportunities, and we can find a place for them.
So I got to ask you, what made you get interested in politics?
So my parents were very active for my whole life, at the neighborhood level. I lived in Elmwood Park for the first half of my life, or my childhood, excuse me. And my parents both was the president and the vice president of the neighborhood association. When we moved to Farmington, when I was 8.5, my parents came in. It was like 3 black families in this subdivision, but somehow my parents came in and started running the neighborhood association there too. So as a kid, I was the one at the meetings giving people water and giving people pater and stuff. So that washed over me. The soundtrack in my house was C-SPAN and Motown. You know what I'm saying? Like so I was embedded in it the whole time. In fact, my mother tells a story that when I was in 5th grade, my class had a mock presidential debate. Okay. So I'm in 5th grade. I'm living out in Farmington. I was 2 black kids in the whole school building. I'm one of them, right? And I got to be Bill Clinton in the mock debate. Okay. So apparently I made the George Bush kid cry. And so they call. So Miss Butler, she calls my mother. Is like, Garland did really well in the debate. And she said, I know. Well, why did he do so well? Because what was on at dinner time in my house was C-SPAN Crossfire and Capital Gang and these political debate shows. So I was like immersed in that as a kid. So what am I doing? I'm hooping. I'm doing math. Listening to politics. That was like my childhood, basically, right? Now, when I was in college at University of Michigan, I went to engineering school. By the way, national champion at University of Michigan. I'm gonna say
Shout him out.
right.
Shout them out.
Come on. So when I was in college, our admissions policy use of race as a factor in admissions decisions, affirmative action, was challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court. And as a student who ran an organization for black men on campus, I was part of leading the student response to that lawsuit. And so organizing students on campus, organizing buses to go to Washington, D.C. for our hearing date at the Supreme Court. Like I participated in all that. Got a chance to shut down a racist activity on campus. It was called a affirmative action bake sale, where this group of young Americans for Freedom, these young Republican students, were selling baked goods at different prices depending on what your race was.
Oh wow!
If you got a muffin, okay, and the muffin costs $2 if you're white, $1 if you're black, 25 cents if you're Native American, 50 cents if you're Latino. Blatantly racist, okay?
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm 6'8", right? And all my friends is tall too. So we decided we was gonna shut down this bake sale. So let's just say we went and stood in front of the bake sale. They never say nothing, with our arms folded, and the bake sale ended. That was my first taste of activism. Okay, so I learned how to use people power to make change when I was in college. But I thought that was a hobby. My parents had real jobs. My mom worked for GM, my dad worked for the Department of Defense. So I still got my 2 engineering degrees and went to work as a software developer at Microsoft, okay? But it wasn't until volunteering on President Obama's campaign in 2008 when I saw that you could use technology to help people realize their political power. That's when I fell in love. And I ended up quitting my good job at Microsoft to become a community organizer, inspired by that experience. And that's what got me into politics.
No, we glad to. Hey, brother, you the first black lieutenant governor.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna tell you something. That's inspiration to a lot of black men, and I say that respectfully. And I applaud you. You do an amazing job, because I can only imagine all the backdrop, particularly when they tried to do that crazy garbage to the Gretchen Whitmore back in the day. What kind of what kind of stuff you was going through. But
yeah, they came at me on September 12th of last year.
Oh, did they? Oh, that's right.
There was a bomb threat on my home on September 12th of last year, and that wasn't the first one. So, look, we have to deal with that, but I stand on the shoulders of a giant already. The first black statewide elected executive was former Secretary of State Richard Austin.
Sure did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was an innovator in this position, okay? He's the person that created what we call motor voter, the connection between your driver's license and voter registration. That was an innovation that Richard Austin started here as the Secretary of State of Michigan that led to that becoming a national standard. Okay, so that is a giant whose shoulders that I stand on to seek to build on that foundation.
Can we get more, I guess, technology literate? Can we teach us how to be more technology literate?
Good question.
And I say that for myself too. Can we get secondary state? Say, hold on, y'all. We're gonna give y'all some classes, 4 or 5 months, so you can know. So we can research candidates, just go through. Let me say this: have a fake system where we can try to vote on a computer.
Well,
I don't know if that makes sense.
So. I think what my role is as Secretary of State is to make sure that these systems work well, are easy, and accessible.
Okay.
And so there are ways that I can work with the team to use technology to realize that goal. Okay, there are ways that I can do that, and that's what I'll do in this job. And part of that is making sure people can be informed about what's happening in the election process. Candidates, ballot initiatives, stuff that's happening at the local level, millages, all that kind of stuff. So my job is to help make sure that platform works well and it's not biased, but is available.
Correct.
So that is something that I can do, and I'll pursue that very aggressively as Secretary of State.
So can you register homeless? Can you go to a homeless shelter and register people to vote? Are you allowed to do that?
You can.
Would you be willing to do that?
I'd be willing to make sure that wherever there's a voter, they can get registered.
That's interesting. What about? Well, I hate to say this. Sometimes some brothers and sisters out, and so I experienced homelessness growing up. Mm-hmm. Let me put that out there. I don't like really shit, but that's true. But still, we had a civic duty. We still participated in the civic system.
Sure.
And sometimes it would have been great while we was going through the hardship if we could have had somebody just walk past and say, "Hey, you register to vote?"
Right, because even when you are experiencing homelessness, you are still a human being. You are still a citizen, and you are still a voter. And I see you, and I respect you.
Facts.
Okay, we must not dismiss people, and I'll never do that. And so, my job is to use the tools of this office to make sure people in Michigan realize their power.
Yes,
and that's what I'll do.
Man,
I love it. I'm absorbing. This is it.
I'm gonna tell you.
Absorbing.
Sometimes you can feel people's energy.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor. And we're sitting across from you. Your energy is genuine. And I see you got that basketball look on your face, like Michigan had when they was playing UConn. Like, okay, I'm here to win. I ain't playing.
It was like this after you hit that.
You understand? But I think it's good, brother. But because I really feel that, unfortunately, a lot of people across the board, this has nothing to do with race, don't understand the importance of voting. Now they got what I call voters' remorse. We voted Donald Trump. I didn't vote. But he's sticking it to you. But on this show, we talked about that. Big Mama food stamps all the way up to the Medicaid. So I really like the fact that you're going to have a program that's going to be, hey, listen, you need to vote.
Yeah.
Whatever party you vote for is cool.
Yeah.
Can we run that on a YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Can we get all that stuff on there so it can be a constant reminder?
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, again, we need to aggressively go and meet people where they are. A lot of people get information on social media. We need to being invisible on social media is being invisible, period. And so that's not an option. And so we need to meet people where they are and let them know what their power is, what the tools are, what the process is, and to be able to explain that in a compelling way, that a way that is native to that platform. What I mean by that is something that looks like it belongs on TikTok. Don't take something that was a TV commercial and put it on TikTok. Make a TikTok video for TikTok.
Is that a mistake when people do that?
Yeah.
Let me ask you that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Something needs to look like, you don't put it, if you walked out on a basketball court with football pads, it don't make sense. Okay? So your video needs to look like it belongs on Instagram. Right? That's what I mean when I say that.
I know Zoran Mandani in New York, when he first started out, they say he was at 1%, he won the election. And he used social media. Same thing you're talking about doing. Be innovative. He came with a new approach. And I feel like, you got your hand on the pulse. As far as how you're talking about coming at this, you're coming at like, okay, listen, this is, because let me say this to people, and you tell me if you agree with this. If the Republicans get in, we're done.
I think the risk is so great because if MAGA gets their hands on the Michigan Secretary of State's office, there's a reason why this office is their #1 priority when it comes to election administrators. They will spend more money to try to win this election official race than any other in the country. Is their #1 priority, because if they get their hands on this office, they will use it to consolidate power. And then when they consolidate power, that gives them more capacity to hurt people.
Correct.
More capacity to close hospitals, more capacity to kick people off their health insurance, more capacity to take food out of children and pregnant women's mouths, more capacity to hurt people, to raise prices. Look, if the reason I know what's going on with people is because I spend time with people.
Correct.
Michigan is a giant state, okay? It's the biggest state east of the Mississippi River. There are 83 counties in Michigan. I've spent time I've been to every county, all 83 of them, at least 3 times in the last 7 years, okay?
Oh, wow.
Nobody has put in more time on the road in Michigan than I have in at least the last 50 years, okay? I've listened to people from every walk of life, in every context, in every corner of the state of Michigan. When I say I know what people in Michigan are feeling, I know what they're feeling because I done heard about it, okay? So that is what grounds me in what we have to do and how urgent this situation is. And what I heard a lot, especially last year, in the first year of this second Trump presidency, was people said, man, if he is able to wreck voting the same way he was able to raise prices, it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
running for Secretary of State to stop that from happening.
That's right. That's right. Let's cut that up again.
I want to say this too, concerning what you said about Trump. Trump said what last week at a Republican meeting? I don't have no money for daycare and insurance. All I got money for is war. We got to take care of the military. So I mean, we have to understand this, when it comes to a person not having any humanity, that's nothing to do with party.
Right.
That's to do with you.
Right.
He just so happened to be a Republican that's doing what he's doing, and the Republicans are afraid to speak up. And those who do, now they have what I call voters' remorse. I shouldn't have done. So I agree with what you're saying. But the people, as you said, Lieutenant Governor, have to understand that we are at urgent times. This could be the end of democracy, not just for black people, but for everybody.
We all in this democracy together.
We in this together.
And just imagine having a Secretary of State in Michigan that was excited to do whatever Trump say.
Say it again. Please say that again.
Repeat that. A Secretary of State in Michigan that is eager to take that phone call, say yes, sir, and do whatever Trump says. He want to redraw the congressional maps? Yes, sir, we'll do it right now. You want to kick eligible voters off the voting roll? Yes, sir, we'll do it right now. You want to make it harder for married women to vote? Yes, sir, we'll do it right now. You want to end pre-registration, the thing that's going to lead to increased youth voter turnout because you think them young people are too progressive? Yes, sir, we'll do it. You want to close polling locations on college campuses? Yes, sir, we'll do it. That is what will happen if this MAGA person named Anthony Ferlini gets his hands on the Secretary of State's office. We can't afford that.
No.
Now that's real.
That's deep.
Just imagine we have 4 more Donald Trumps. I mean, I want people to really understand what this brother's saying because what he's saying is real. And I just feel like a lot of us, so I hear people say, well, I never thought we'd be in this position. We're here. We're back in the Reconstruction period. I was reading that right before you got here, studying that. And they said what happened with black voting in the Reconstruction period is they did exactly what Donald Trump trying to do. They got back into power. They said, oh, now we got the power? Oh, we finna reverse everything the Reconstruction period did. That's what happened. And it goes back to what you said, Lieutenant Governor. If we get somebody in there that becomes a Donald Trump puppet, oh, we're done. We're done. They're going to reverse not just for black, for everybody.
So let's do something about it.
Facts.
That's why I'm asking people for their support.
Okay. Anything
We're here
else?
to support you. I also wanted to add on too. I'm definitely disabsorbing you. This energy is crazy, and I also wanted to put emphasis on April the 19th.
April the 19th.
Yes.
Can you explain April 19th?
Absolutely. So And you can find information about this at garlandgilchrist.com/convention. garlandgilchrist.com/convention. On April 19th, the Michigan Democratic Party will have a big convention at Huntington Place, former Cobo Hall, downtown. At that convention, people who have been members of the Michigan Democratic Party since before March 20th of this year will be able to come and vote for who the Democratic endorsed candidates will be for Secretary of State, for Attorney General, for the State of Michigan Board of Education, for the Michigan Supreme Court, and for the governing bodies of the University of Michigan, Michigan State, and Wayne State University.
Yes.
You got to come and show up to be able to vote. We're going to bring people from all over Michigan. I got buses coming from Northern Michigan, West Michigan, Mid-Michigan, Southwest Michigan, people coming in to vote. Be thousands of people there, and I want to turn that into a rally, a Gilchrist rally for democracy.
Okay.
Say it again. Say that again.
Gilchrist Rally for Democracy on April 19th in Huntington Place. Go to garlandgilchrist.com/convention and come and be a part of it.
Let's clap that up.
Listen, man. So I gotta ask you one more question, man. Now let me. I want to put the headphones. This is a hot one. When you run for president, where you go?
I put it. I'm not skipping no steps. Okay.
All right.
This is what we need to serve. That's what I need to do. That's why I'm doing it because it's that important.
Man, you
Awesome.
Listen,
Man.
brother. I want to say, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, this interview was just absolutely magnificent.
Mind blowing.
People need, because our show reached the everyday people. I mean, we done put in work, and I enjoy doing this because of my mama taught me to be civically active.
Yeah.
And what I tell people, when you don't vote, somebody else make a decision for you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
When you don't vote, because now we in a war. We want to take Cuba, and guess who's going out here to fight these wars? Mostly middle class and poverty-stricken people are fighting these wars. Why? Because we decided not to vote. Like you said, we didn't have that energy. We didn't have a Garland Gilchrist movement that lights a fire under you to realize, okay, damn, voting is important. I like listen. Just listen. They'll come just talk to you, especially with that cologne, the champ. You wear that,
Champ.
you put that on, you gonna get there. But I just want to say thank you so much, and just our platform is open for you.
Always.
Anytime that you want to come in. And again, can you repeat the April 19th thing again so they'll know?
Michigan Democratic Party Convention on April 19th at Huntington Place. Come down. Registration opens for it at 7 a.m. Go to garlandgilchrist.com/convention to sign up to participate.
Can they sign up now on garlandgilchrist.com?
They can come to commit to vote. They can come to sign up to commit to voting for me at the convention there. But to cast a vote, you got to be a member by March 20th. But go to garlandgilchrist.com/convention to get all the information you need.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Lieutenant Governor, we appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, brothers.
And again,
Thank you.
yes, sir. And like I say, anytime you want to come on the platform, is wide open.
Open. Yes.
So, Mr. Can you put us on the commercial right quick, Mr. Tyler? And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If you enjoy the music, the talk, and the vibe right here on WHPR, we need your support. Help us keep independent radio alive by sending a Cash App donation of whatever you can to $WHPR TV Radio. Every dollar makes a difference. That's $WHPR TV Radio. Support the station that supports you.
Maureen Jackson thought she had it all until she was faced with the challenges of raising an autistic child. Inspired by autism is her brutally honest journey, filled with heartbreak and triumph. Get your copy and find the support you deserve today by visiting www.claudinejackson.tv.
Tune in to the I Love the Hustle show, Saturday afternoons at 12 p.m., followed by Mr. Smooth's Ballroom and Steppers Express Dance Show on WHPR 15.2 Detroit, Apple TV, Roku, and many streaming platforms. See you Saturday.
TV 33 is moving to WHPS TV channel 15.2. Make sure to rescan the channels on your TV. Then go to WHPS channel 15.2 to pick up TV 33 and all of your favorite shows. The move is on, and we want you to move with us to WHPS channel 15.2.
If you enjoyed the music, the talk, and the vibe right here on WHPR, we need your support. Help us keep independent radio alive by sending a Cash App donation of whatever you can to $WHPR TV Radio. Every dollar makes a difference. That's $WHPR TV Radio. Support the station that supports you.
All right, y'all. That was absolutely an extraordinary interview. We had to take a commercial to go out and talk to the brother. It was just amazing. Okay, we got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Oh, go ahead. I got to put my headphones. Go ahead. What you saying now?
I said, what's going on, Tula?
Oh, go ahead. What's going on, good brother?
Hey, yeah, I had a comment that I wanted the Lieutenant Governor to hear, because dig this, what a lot of people don't know, and he may not be aware of it himself. This administration wants to get rid of early voting, correct?
Yes, sir.
He wants to get rid of early voting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Guess who else that hinders?
Who?
Law enforcement. Across the nation. Across the nation. Election day is a restricted day where officers are not allowed to have their day off. There's also a policy that law enforcement officers cannot vote in uniform. You cannot participate in any political activity while in uniform. So imagine on election day, there's something of a critical or fatal situation, such as an accident or a shooting or whatever. That hinders the law enforcement officer because he or she can't vote that day.
That's interesting. I'll let him know that.
Okay. And Justin, you got your ears on?
No, Justin, he's still out there entertaining the
Oh, he's still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, make sure you share with Justin how I correct that save.
Man, tell me how that. What? Just give me the acronym for that. Tell me what you said it meant.
Stop all voting efforts.
That's right. Stop all. And so Sly gave me this information. Stop all voting efforts is what he called the SAVE Act, which is true, right? I just couldn't remember the acronym, but yeah, stop all voting efforts. But I will let him know, good brother. Thanks for calling in. And I think it's important, Sly, that with the statement you made, I'm going to highlight that. You know, that we have, like you said, law enforcement on that particular day, which I was unaware, have to work. So now if you in early voting, you just cut all the law enforcement out from voting because they can't vote that day. They have to do early voting. Law
enforcement officers can't participate in anything political. They can't even, to my recollection, they're not supposed to be in position of campaign or election material.
Oh wow.
Okay. Have you ever seen a campaign bumper sticker on a police car?
No, I never have. Correct.
Case closed.
Correct. All right, good brother. Well, I'm sorry you can tell him, but I will share that with him because that's something he needs to put out there. I will make sure that they know that.
It's in the wind, and so am I.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, thank you so much. Y'all, we had an amazing show today. I think that we really got to see a strong part of Mr. Gilchrist that did We Never Seen. The brother was just powerful. And I'm going to just say this to y'all, the energy is real. And we're not just saying that, and I have to put it, I'm not just saying that because you feel a Democratic Party is black. That has nothing to do with that. Because when it comes to politics or Politricks, you decide, it's a universal thing. It has nothing necessarily, or it's not supposed to have just anything to do with race. It has to do with humanity and human beings in general. We all are affiliated, or we all are in this so-called democratic mix of the United States of America. So we all want to be treated respectfully, regardless of race, color, gender, or sexual orientation, creed, or whatever. We just want to be treated. But let's be honest with ourselves, and I'm just calling it a buck. Under the Republican Party, that's not happening. And we have to call it a buck and call it what it is. Well, y'all, the show is ending. Catch me Monday at 5 o'clock on Real Talk with Tulika Bone. My hope is that everybody enjoyed the show today. We had a very powerful speaker. And please, if you can, show up April the 19th at the Huntington Center to vote this brother, or vote for him to become the Secretary of State Democratic nominee. And Dr. Hassan himself is running for Michigan, for the Wayne State board. So I'm going to try to bring him in next week so we can talk with him as well. But y'all have an amazing day. And as I always say, stay woke. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Catch us at 5 o'clock for Monday, and he going to run that commercial again for Cash App. Please donate. And also, if you don't want to donate by Cash App, send the money to 160 Victor Street, Highland Park, Michigan, zip code 48203. Right? Thank you. Just says for the Tulika Bone Show or Politics or Politricks. But please, please donate. Ask Mr. Tyler to run that commercial right after this show ends. Have an amazing day. God's will, y'all hear my voice Monday. Power to the people.
If you enjoyed the music, the talk, and the vibe right here on WHPR, we need your support. Help us keep independent radio alive by sending a Cash App donation of whatever you can to $WHPR TV Radio. Every dollar makes a difference. That's $WHPR TV Radio. Support the station that supports you.